Those are the best tag team moves. You guys know I'm a big fan of Legion of Doom, Road Warriors.
Yep.
And that's all they would do is one guy would hold the guy up and the other guy would just clothesline him off the top of him. Awesome.
Love tag team. I looked up tag team moves when you said, should we add one? And I'm like, no, let's not.
I was wondering what was happening.
So I'm the only person with a tag team move.
Okay.
So I got that going for me.
Yeah.
Turned it into a power slam. Oh, look at this. Forget about it. We may have a record time here.
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux Podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux Podcast. Coming at you from the Slice on Oak Studios. I am Mayor Dave Badeaux, the city brander. With me, as always, is my brother.
Get stealing. Woo! Wheeling, dealing. Woo!
For sure. Well, Gabe, you know the woo sound.
I know the woos.
You know what's going on today, then.
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling time, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Draft Day. WWE Finisher Edition. So we don't do a ton of wrestling content on the podcast. However, we have, by accident, I would say, found out that our listeners really like wrestling content.
As do I.
Yes, Gabe is our lingering wrestling fan because your younger ones have gotten into it.
My 8-year-old is into it, so I stay up to date with what's happening, and we
Yes.
watch every couple months. We'll catch one.
Yes, I was a big WCW fan because it was the one that was on the channels that we got when I was a kid. So my whole reference is everyone I knew loved Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and everything, and I was over in the WCW watching Sting and Ric Flair and all the boys. I do not consume a lot of wrestling now. However, I got right into the early 2000s. Wrestling was huge in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Wrestling was huge in the 80s, pretty big in the early 90s, huge in the late 90s.
Yeah, when I was in 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, what's that, 97, 98?
Yeah.
Biggest thing ever.
It's still pretty huge. I mean, WrestleMania just sold out Allegiant Field for the whole weekend.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying we're also 40-some years old, Gabe. So our demographic has...
It doesn't mean I can't love a man with
I
a
was gonna say,
flamethrower.
We're 40, Gabe.
Gabe sends me a lot of memes and videos from wrestling content.
And Seth freaking Rollins entered WrestleMania with a fucking flamethrower.
So you sent
The
it...
Black Flag guy? Oh, that's Henry.
Yeah. So this all kind of came about because WrestleMania just happened, but also Seth Rollins announced one of the picks at the NFL draft.
He's a Bears fan.
Yes.
The draft was in Green Bay.
Yes.
So he showed up heel, talked a bunch of shit to Green Bay.
A
Like,
lot
the
of
Bears are better.
I would say maybe it went on a little too long. Your promo for the next WrestleMania can start in about 9 months, bud. He went a little ham on it. Was about a 3-minute talking shit session.
Okay.
But then Gabe just sent me a bunch of videos of him. Like, look at this man's entrance.
Yeah.
The flamethrower was cool. I liked the pure white.
He's got style.
Oh God, he came out in pure white with like white Randy Savage glasses on and everything.
Nice.
I was like, okay, that's a look.
He's got the best style in this generation. He'll wear the feathered jackets and
Oh yeah. Any boas?
I don't know if he rocks a boa.
Boa's out of style now. I thought they'd come back.
Did you see the start of the NFL draft with Clay Matthews?
I did not.
Because that was fucking awesome.
Oh, yes.
I don't much care for Clay Matthews,
Yes.
being a Vikings fan.
Yes.
But he comes out to announce whatever, the start of the draft.
Yes.
And he says he just got off the phone with President Donald Trump.
Yes.
He said, and I got a message here from Donald Trump for all of you. It says, my fellow Americans. Pulls the paper out. The Bears still suck. Awesome. I burst out laughing. I was like, that was great. That was really good.
So what we have today is a list for draft day, and this is finishing moves from the WWE/WWF/All Wrestling. And I think kind of the fun thing about this is it transcends your generations because these are moves that were created and then get reused, sometimes just straight up stolen. Other times the torch is passed, which I think is kind of cool, where they get the actual permission from the previous wrestler to continue using that move. I think that's pretty cool.
But if you couldn't steal moves, wrestling would be pretty boring because
It's
like somebody already pinned somebody else, right?
it's kind of like skateboarding, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, yeah, you grabbed it with your left hand this time. Cool. However, the way that draft day works is that we make a list of 12 items. We go through the list in a draft fashion, snake draft. I will be first, Scott, then Gabe, Scott, myself. Each of us must pick 3 off of the board, and then 1 we can pick off of the board.
Off of the board.
We gotta fix that terminology. 3 we must pick that are on the
From
board.
the list.
From the list. 1
Can be off the board.
can be off the board. So at the end of it, we will each have 4, and of course, again, 3 must be from the list. So we get a couple curveballs. The fun of that is to maybe leave a couple off, see if you can get them or not. Ready for the list?
Yes.
Okay, so the list, we're going to start off right away with just the old school, straight, there's no way you're getting up from this, the leg drop from Hulk Hogan.
Devastating.
Devastating. The Tombstone Piledriver from The Undertaker, the Stone Cold Stunner, the 619 Rey Mysterio, the People's Elbow, The Rock, the Razor's Edge, Razor Ramon, the Sharpshooter from Bret Hart, the Pedigree from Triple H, the F5 from Brock Lesnar, the Swanton Bomb by Jeff Hardy, RKO by Randy Orton, and the Spear from
Goldberg, baby.
Scott and I set that one up because Scott sent me a text and said, are you going to say...
Yeah, you gave me the list, and
Yeah.
I said, oh, at the very last one on the list was Roman Reigns' spear. And I texted you back, and I said, whoa. Roman Reigns over Goldberg?
I'll accept it because his Superman punch is the superior finishing move.
My response to Scott was, this is the way we combat Gabe getting to say, I got Roman Reigns, therefore I win. We'll sneak it on and then we'll give him a 1-2.
He's a has-been. You know who the champ is now.
Yeah.
Henry Rollins?
No,
Close.
not his hair for sure.
Oh, shave your head, dude.
Shave your head or go with a hat. Like he would look good in a hat. Just a baseball cap. That's a good way to wrestle. Yep. Especially with, it goes good with the jorts.
But obviously John Cena, and we don't have him on the list.
We do not have him on the list. You could add, again, you can make a selection that is there. I will say just a couple things before we get started on a couple of these. We wanted to have some old school moves. Like obviously Hulk Hogan and the leg drop at the time, no way you're getting out of that. Once it's dropped, it's dropped. Now, a leg drop happens in the middle of a match and people don't even notice that it happened. But it's kind of fun to see the building of this stuff.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the DDT.
Yes. Yeah, DDT match should be over. Your face is on the canvas. But however, now, not so much.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, you could argue that some of these, like we'll say, like the Sharpshooter with Bret Hart, obviously other people have done that move. But we're going off of this as the people that kind of made that particular part famous. And you can argue when you make your selection if there's someone else you like better in that instance. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, so last time around, I went really heavy on the old school wrestling. I think I want to have a little smattering of that in my list. However, if you're going to start off right away, I think you got to take one of the 2 big dogs. And I'm actually going to go with the Stone Cold Stunner.
Oh,
Damn it.
good pick.
So for me, it would have been between that and the Tombstone Piledriver. I think if you're selecting your top wrestlers, which we've done in the past, go check that out. We do have our favorite wrestlers draft as well.
I dominated you guys.
You got Roman Reigns.
Yeah, you're the best. However, I will say that in terms of like finishing moves, yeah, the Tombstone Piledriver is cool. However, there's a lot of time for the setup of it. You know, because you got to be careful. You're dropping a guy in his neck potentially. So there's a lot of time where both of you kind of got to get set. The cool thing about the Stone Cold Stunner,
Stoled.
the Stone Cold Stunner, the Stone Cold Stunner is just how fast it happens. Kick to the groin, you know, okay, we'll call it the groin. Kick to the groin, and then just grab them and snap them.
And I love the pick. My favorite thing about the Stone Cold Stunner is it's a finishing move, but it doesn't necessarily finish the match. You can drop 2 or 3 stunners in a row if you want.
If you need to, you can stun after stun after stun, and then, you know, eventually it's over. I did look up to see, you know, where did the move come from, if there was anything like that. The one thing I saw from it was, so Stone Cold's original name was Stunning Steve Austin. And his original finisher in WCW was the Stun Gun. And he basically just took them and smashed their face into the ropes.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of fun. Evidently also known as a hot shot. So yeah. Kind of like a DDT, only into the ropes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that is my selection. I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty satisfied.
It's the right pick.
Okay. That's on to Scott.
Okay. I don't know any of these.
The
people's elbow?
I'm just kidding. There's a few that I don't know.
You know all of these wrestlers.
I'm going to go with the Tombstone Piledriver.
That's the second best pick.
I would tend to agree.
Yes. Let's chat about it.
Deadly.
Literally. He's put people in the coffin after this.
He is the Undertaker.
Has anybody ever gotten like actually really hurt? I mean, not like ever, but I mean in WWE.
Yeah, if you didn't know what you were doing and gave somebody a pile driver, you could paralyze them.
Right, but I mean like professionally.
Yeah,
Like-
Steve Austin, actually, that's how he hurt his neck, wasn't it?
Okay.
It was the pile driver. Yeah, he actually broke his neck. Who was that? Who broke his neck? Why am I drawing a complete blank right now?
Hope it was the Undertaker.
I would imagine.
I don't know. I don't think it was. Because I don't think they were happy with this individual about it.
Like some scrub.
You broke Steve Austin's neck. But yeah, because if you think about it, right, the guy getting dropped on his head has to hang on, and then you got to hang on,
Right.
and then between the two of you, you're just hoping that the other guy's knees don't buckle far enough for your spine to compress.
Right.
Yeah, that's scary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I actually looked this up. He did it in his very first match as The Undertaker.
Nice.
Yeah. So it wasn't like one of these where it popped up later on in life. Literally the first match that he ever had. Boom.
That's his move.
And not to be rude, but I mean, he came out in a Spirit of Halloween costume. So I'm pretty sure the Tombstone Piledriver created.
Yeah. You ever hit anybody with it?
No. I'm glad.
Never? Not even when you were
No.
younger and sprier?
No, I wouldn't. Like we would wrestle, but we were like we always did pressure points.
Yeah.
My brother and I were always into like cutting off your circulation and really literally hurting each other. But we never did any like actual like punching or like wrestling type moves. It was never any pile drivers or DDTs or anything.
Yeah, it was just Indian burns.
Yeah, Indian burns and
Snake bites.
no, there's some,
Yeah.
no, there's some spots on your neck that you'll hate your life. When somebody gets their finger down under your collarbone, hate your life. More so than when somebody drops you on your spine. After that, you don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the movie The Dark Knight. You don't hit them in the head, and they don't feel anything after that. You gotta get in there, rip their collarbone out first.
Sure.
How about you? Have you ever?
Of course not.
Yeah, well, you're not big enough.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Who would I do it to?
A child.
Yeah, right. I was going to say an 8-year-old.
8-year-olds, dude. Scott or Gabe, let's move. Let's just keep this baby going.
Okay, that was 2 very good picks. Probably the 2 correct picks. I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys. Around the ropes.
That would have been.
And I'm going with 619.
Yeah, that wasn't going to come back. Scott was going to take it.
Dang it.
Probably the coolest. I love the cruiserweight class of wrestlers.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
fly around the ring. So this is Rey Mysterio. He's a luchador, obviously. Learned this back with the luchadors in Mexico, just swinging around the ropes. When he got to the WWE, well, probably in the WCW first is where he started.
Yep.
Somebody said, "Hey, why don't you do that move, but have somebody's face in the ropes. And you just kick them in the face. He's a great idea. And has been doing it ever since, is still doing it to this day. And it's just a badass finishing move.
It's a really cool. Well, first of all, when he came in, at least on like your standard cable television, you didn't get to see a lot of luchador type stuff. There were guys going off the top ropes and stuff. And we like talked about it before we started, the flying elbow from Randy Savage and stuff. That's cool off the ropes, but nobody was like doing flips and spinning around and doing the type of aerial type stuff that he was doing. And this in particular is diving through the ropes and grabbing on and swinging back around.
Right.
You'd never seen anything like that.
Just natural torque.
Yes. Yeah. I would actually argue my favorite move of his is the tornado type thing that he does where he gets on your neck and then flips around and makes you flip around.
Well, sometimes he'll kind of combine that. So he'll hit you with the 619 and then stands you straight up dazed, and then he'll jump off the ropes and spin you around.
Yeah.
Pin you.
Doesn't get any better. That's why I drafted it.
Yeah, I also really like the idea that he literally invented that as a finisher, right? It was a move that people were doing, but they were doing it more as like acrobatics to like give showmanship to the
Instead
match.
of bouncing off the ropes, you swing through the ropes.
Yeah,
as
you
you
go
go.
back and but the idea that you're like, no, why don't you just kick him in the face? Great.
Sold.
That turns out. I do wonder, I was looking at pictures of him today, and his costume typically on the boots have like the almost like scales. So kind of like a catcher in baseball, you know, the tongue of their thing. It's got some of those. So I'm wondering if that's padding or not. It didn't really look. It looked like, because it's like, okay, that's either an embellishment or most likely that's a little bit
Or at
of
least
padding.
a little bit of cushion.
Yeah. So when someone's getting kicked with your shin,
Right.
and more so for you probably.
Right, because it is the shin. It's not his feet.
Yeah, you go shin to skull, you're at least limping for half of, a couple minutes at least. So I like it. I honestly think those are the top three. So
I agree.
all right, we're coming back.
Okay, so I went with cruiserweight, went with
Okay.
high fly and speed. Let's just go with brute strength. Going with the F5 from Brock
Okay.
Lesnar.
Okay.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. What a move.
So he just picks the guy up and just throws his ass across the ring. Doesn't matter.
He gives him a little twist.
Yeah.
Gives him a little spin.
Spins him around is the best.
Like
part.
an F5 tornado.
Hence the name, boys.
And they really just kind of go up and come back down.
They do, but it's pretty fun to see because he kind of does the thing where they, because he almost does like a power press with it as well. Where,
Yeah.
They're getting up. And it's unbelievable how big of people he
Oh,
can.
dude.
He's throwing 300-pound guys around.
No.
300? He threw the fucking Big Show. He's like 550, dude. 550 pounds. And he throws him off of his shoulders with a spin.
Oh, man.
The fuck?
That is
I think he did one to Rikishi, too.
Oh,
wow. That's pretty crazy because when you think about the Big Show was called the Big Show in the era where everyone was big. Like everyone was.
But he was bigger.
Yes,
Yeah.
but he was bigger. Hulk Hogan is 6'6".
Yeah, Kevin Nash is also, 7 feet tall,
Yeah.
but not 500 plus pounds.
Yeah.
I mentioned we didn't have John Cena.
Yes.
And his attitude adjustment is a poor man's F5.
Yeah.
Right? Gets him on the shoulder, then barely gets him on his
Yeah.
shoulders.
Just kind of tips him
Kind of
over.
just like teeter-totters him
Yeah.
off.
Brock Lesnar ain't messing around with that.
Yeah, he honestly gets like almost benches him up like a power press, like just boom. And then while spinning,
Actually, there was a video of Brock Lesnar hitting John Cena with the F5. And it looks like it's just at the very start of the match.
It just starts with it?
Well, it doesn't. I don't even know there was a match. It was a really, really brief clip I saw where they do a little handshake, and Brock just grabs him and throws him up on his shoulders.
Oh, so that's like when they agree to a match or one of
Something
these
like that.
side things.
But it was just silly because normally the F5 comes after a long and grueling match where the guy's
Somebody's
really
exhausted.
tired.
Yeah.
Where John Cena is just fresh as all get out. And Brock throws him over his shoulders and then has to kind of sell it, so he's swinging or whatever. And John Cena has to just
sitting there?
sit there. Like, I know he didn't even hit him. Like, he didn't hit him to daze him. He
Not
just
an
grabbed him
elbow?
and put him on the shoulders. And Cena just had to sit there and ride it out for a couple seconds. Like, Wiggle.
Try to get up.
Do something. Another excellent pick, and with Lesnar, you've got such a big guy, but a champion wrestler. Right? Like actual collegiate champion wrestler.
Lost one match ever
Crazy.
to, I believe, Stephen Neal,
Okay.
who went on to be a arguably Hall of Fame offensive lineman for the New England Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think
Brock Lesnar was not arguably Hall of Fame linebacker for the Minnesota
he
Vikings.
was not. He was not.
He
did-
tried.
Yeah.
He tried.
He was. I mean, UFC champion,
Yeah.
heavyweight UFC champion,
Yes.
like
yeah, also
generational
He's as
athlete.
legit of a fighter as
Yeah.
it gets. Yeah.
So what was super funny? You remember the fight that he lost to Frank Mir?
Mir.
Yeah, Frank Mir, where Frank Mir just grabbed his ankle and
He's beating the piss out of him the whole
my
time, and then he got caught in an
God.
ankle lock.
Well, and he just went in the one time and missed, and that's all it took, and then just got his ankle caught. But he would do the hammer fist,
Oh yeah.
where we weren't even punching.
Uh-huh.
We're just crushing your skull with the side of your like. I just can't even imagine getting hit by that thing.
Yeah, it was Randy Couture who was the heavyweight champion and fought him. I think Lesnar got him down and started doing that, where he just starts pounding on his head. A lot of times, really, really short, where it's almost like he's just like pushing your
Right.
face.
It's more mashing. Yeah.
But Randy Orton, after the fight, had said something along the lines of, "Yeah, when you get down there and you got those ham hocks coming at you," just called his hands ham hocks. Just pow, 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 pow.
That's when I started loving the term ham hock. Yeah.
You even got ham hocked.
I did get ham hocked. I did. So it's at one point our podcast viewers are going to see that I'm going to lose a tooth down here. I can tell.
They better never see that.
I can tell it's going. And Callie and I was talking about it. I'm like, it's going. I can tell it's going. It's slightly loose. And she's like, well, you need to go to the dentist. I'm like, it's from getting punched. I've been punched so many times in my life that my tooth is fucked. What do you want me to do? You want to go to the dentist and go like, can you unpunch my tooth?
Yeah. All they're going to do is pull it until you don't tooth one in.
What they're going to do is they're going to pull that one, and then they're going to be like, you know what? These other 8 should probably go too.
Yeah. I don't really want to not have a tooth, but what are you going to do? Maybe I should have not cocked off so much early in my life.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have been such a...
Yeah. Such a douche. I do like the pick, the F5. Again, not his best move, though. So, Scott, your selection.
Not his best move.
Mm-hmm.
What other move does Brock Lesnar have?
Let's go.
Goldberg's spear.
Well, I already have Brock Lesnar, so if you're trying to take that off the board, I already own that move too.
And it's a finisher. No, these are finishers. These are finishers.
Okay.
These are not wrestlers.
I think, as much as I don't really care for it that much, I think the correct pick is the People's Elbow.
Okay. I think that's a terrible pick.
I don't know. That was huge when I was a kid.
It was.
That was the one that you got hit with on the playground.
Okay.
Yeah.
People throwing the people's elbow.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone
That's
doing
an
that?
easy one to copy.
You're
True.
right. You just put your elbow out and fall down.
Well, first you got to take your elbow pad off.
Yeah, no, you
and throw it.
gotta show it to the people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the showmanship of that move is pretty bad.
Yeah, because here it comes. Oh, he's down. Is it coming or is it not?
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. But then when he pulls,
as soon as the eyebrow goes,
yeah, for sure.
Oh.
And then you prance around the ring for a couple seconds.
Prance is a good term.
Boing.
Yeah.
Bling. And I've fallen over.
Yes. And it is really, gravity take over.
Yeah, like you could sell that part of the move. You know, jump into it.
No, that's the beauty of the move is that everything else is so, aggressive.
just
and
a
then
Yeah, and it's the people's elbow.
Yes.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. I will say this. So I missed The Rock's fame. That was the very tail end of my consuming of WWE. I think there are a lot of people that love The Rock, and then now he's come back. And would you say he has tainted his legacy, or do you think it's building the legacy?
I think it's building. I mean, he's part of the bloodline. I mean, he and Roman Reigns are cousins, so they're working together on a lot of things. So The Rock is still very much building his legacy right now.
Why did The Rock not come and help out in WrestleMania?
Because John Cena was being the heeliest heel ever.
Okay.
He knew he was going to win, so he showed up, didn't even bring The Rock, didn't even try, just kind of stood in the ring for 5 minutes and then pinned Cody Rhodes, and it was the ugliest win ever.
That's what I hear. I've heard
Shame.
that.
Very lazy.
Yes, I've heard it was potentially one of the worst WrestleManias of all time.
I'm surprised John Cena could wrestle.
Main event.
Main event,
Saturday
okay,
main event.
okay,
There were some great fights.
Okay.
The proportions of John Cena just don't seem like they
Now
would,
or
like they
then?
now.
Oh, yeah.
Now, even then, to a certain degree, he's just a very strangely shaped human being.
He was kind of shaped like the toys they used to make for WWE. You remember that?
Sure.
Like he looked like all of the toys that we got as kids for WWE, because it's like, well, we got to be able to make it stand, so it's got to be kind of squat.
Got to be squat and blocky.
And blocky, yeah. Yeah, he's very blocky. More so now. And the hair. I just, John, buddy.
What are you trying to do?
Well, he's a heel. You got to lean into it now. It's the best time. You're in the heel phase. You got to lean into like anything.
Having hideous hair?
Well, anything other than
Anything that people hate.
Yeah. Fucking Jerry curl.
yeah. Well, what did so Hulk Hogan, when he went heel, because he went to all black.
He went to all black.
But did he shave his head, or was he hanging? Oh,
No,
he went
he was just
bandana.
bald.
He went bandana.
Oh, he went bandana.
He went black bandana. I was gonna say, because there was something different.
Somebody
about,
told him he could pull it off.
Yeah. You're a heel now. Is the time to cover up that beautifulness. We got a bunch of comments from one of our old videos. I put one of our old videos up. I think, God, what video was it?
Am I wearing a pink bandana?
No, but you're wearing a bandana, and then somebody made a comment. So whoever told you can pull off a bandana was wrong. And then there's like 100 likes.
Fuck you. I look great.
I was like, yes, I'm fat and you can't. You don't have hair. Oh,
Are you kidding me? Look at all this hair.
People are.
at that.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan over there.
No, I'm
People are
going more for the Norman Reedus.
Okay. People are the worst. People on the internet are the worst. My favorite comment that we get is, podcast equipment should be $1 trillion. And it's like, I would say once a month on one of our social medias, that exact comment happens. And it's like, it's the only one that bugs me because it's so unoriginal and it's such a worthless comment.
And it was funny the first time it was said by the person who thought of it.
It's been said. I'm not kidding you. It is the most repeated comment that we get that is an attack on us.
Yep.
Out of anything. And it doesn't annoy me that you're attacking us. I actually find it really funny. You guys know that. Every time someone says something terrible about us, I send it to us. It's like, look at this. We suck.
Hey guys, still suck.
Still suck. I don't know if you guys thought we were kind of cool now. We're not. We're still really dumb. Okay, I am going. Oh man.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
There's been times where Gabe's worn a bandana.
Yes, Gabe has worn a bandana.
Pull it off.
Were they talking about him?
I made people stand up and salute the flag.
They also don't see that he's got a goddamn man bun. So, okay, I am going. Oh man, so here we're into a weird mode here now because I have 2 picks in a row, and then I don't pick again till the very, very end. I know what I want. However, I think the safest bet here. Yeah, I could get screwed here. I might not get what I want. So I'm going to go on the board. I am going with the Sharpshooter.
Who did that?
So on our list, it says Bret Hart, but this is absolutely the Scorpion Deathlock from Sting. But I'll do this. I'll do it because I think it's the only one we have on the list that is a grapple, which grapples were a huge part of wrestling forever, right? And there's still a bunch of the moves that have it. The Wall of Jericho,
Figure 4.
yeah, figure 4. The figure 4 deadlock. I actually had someone say, I think Jesse. Shout out to Jesse from Play and Trade. I asked him what his favorite ones were, and he mentioned the leg drop from Hulk Hogan, and then he also mentioned the figure 4. Figure 4 lock. Is that what
Figure 4 leg lock.
Leg lock. I was going to call it a deadlock, but from that era, right? 80s, early 90s, that was how you finished people. And it's such an ingrained part of what wrestling is. However, I had just watched a video where there was a wrestler who was talking about the most painful of the finishers, and he was listing the grapples as the most painful because they're rooted in actual
Those are
martial
technical
arts.
wrestling moves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what makes it crazy for Bret Hart. That's why it works for him, because he was a technical wrestler. I really like Bret Hart, if you watched our previous video. But I love me some Sting. And the Scorpion Deathlock is my favorite of the moves. And I actually looked it up to see how that move got started. It was Riki Koshu, which was a Japanese wrestler. And I'm not going to try and say what the Japanese word for it was, but it was actually called the Scorpion Hold. And
Scorpion no hold.
that's terrible, Scott. That's how we get canceled. Yeah, I've been practicing that my whole life, and I've had to stop doing it. I've had to stop doing it. It's not allowed anymore. But no, I love it. I just love the idea that, because a lot of this stuff came from Japan. Japan was kind of leading the way, and the Scorpion Hold, of course, the guy called Sting goes and grabs it, and then obviously Bret Hart turns it into the Sharpshooter. So those are my 2 picks there. And then lastly, I am going to go with...
Yeah, those are your 2 picks there. I mean, yes, that was your second pick.
I have one more pick after this, so I guess it's not lastly.
You made it sound like you
Had just selected
you just
2.
made 2 picks.
No, that was just one pick.
Okay.
No, that was one pick. That was
The Sharpshooter
The Sharpshooter.
and the Scorpion.
no.
Sting.
It's the same move, gentlemen. It's the same move.
Yeah, we get it.
Okay. Yeah, screw it. I think there's enough here that I could be happy with anything that comes back to me. So I'm going to go off the board.
Okay.
Sweet chin
Damn it!
music.
You son of a bitch! Everybody's taking my picks.
There is no better move than kicking a dude in the fucking face.
So good.
And not only that, but just so well done. Shawn Michaels, who I was not a fan of. I was not a Shawn Michaels guy. I was a Bret Hart guy. I was a Sting guy. Shawn Michaels, babyface, I just was not. I thought his shtick was so gay. But
He's a bit of a twink.
Yeah, he was a heartthrob wearing pink and hearts more than anything, because Bret Hart was in pink as well. But anyways, just super kicking people to the face, super dangerous, super fucking dangerous. And it's actually how Bret Hart's career got ended, was because Goldberg kicked him in the head with a super kick. So, but honestly, if you're talking finishers, there's nothing better than a guy thinking he's coming at you, and then you just belt him in the face with your foot. Match over.
Yep.
Round done. Nothing more to say.
Yeah, for those of you who watch modern day, the good wrestling, modern stuff, it's called the Claymore. Drew McIntyre has it. He's
Okay.
like 6'5", 290-pound Scottish guy.
Okay.
He goes off the rope and then flying through the air, kick to the face. That's his finishing move.
Yeah, doesn't he do it with his knee though?
No, it's a boot.
Oh, it is a boot?
He wears a boot.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great move. You know, typically
So
just
it's like a Chuck Norris
yes.
kick,
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well,
he's a big guy. He's not as nimble as Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
like
I mean,
an old karate.
it is
You know,
it-
that diving kick.
off the rope. Yeah. Typically like the super kick is more like every kick you've ever seen in a karate movie ever, right? It's the back of the heel.
Right.
To the face. Yeah.
But I will say this, that the fun thing about that was a lot of times they would put up in the dressing rooms no super kicks, like in the dressing room, so that when Shawn Michaels did it, that's it. That should be the first time anyone sees it tonight. It is my finisher. Do not do the super kick. I am doing the super kick to end my match, which I think that's pretty cool. Like the way they protect each other's moves is pretty cool. All right, Scott, you are up.
Well, damn it. Both my off the board picks are gone.
Okay.
There's only one off the board.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that the figure 4 leg lock and the sharpshooter were the same thing.
You could do this. No, you could do the figure 4 leg lock. That I would 100% allow it. We just said the sharpshooter is a variation, as is the Wall of Jericho. You can still do it. It's just a variation.
Good to know.
Okay.
God, you really took the wind out of my sails with the sweet chin music.
I knew I had to take
son
it.
of a bitch.
I knew it wasn't going to get back to me. And it was the one I wanted. Thankfully, folks, I made the list. So I had it on the list and I took it off the list.
And I said before we recorded,
Yes, you did.
you're going for some sweet chin music,
Yes,
hey, Dave?
yes, you did say that. And no, of course not. Why would I do that? I don't even know what that is. So you have the Tombstone Piledriver and the People's Elbow rooted in the 90s.
Yes.
Early 2000s as well.
God, I know Gabe will hate me if I stay there.
It's not about that. You do whatever you think is right.
I already hate you, Scott.
Fair. Well, in that case, I'm going to take the spear
Ooh.
from Goldberg.
Not from Roman Reigns. From
Definitely not from Edge.
Okay, yeah.
Edge did it as well.
Yeah, not as well.
Never sold it. When Goldberg hit it, you fucking knew it. That was it.
It was the only thing he had that it was like impressive.
Right.
So you're just a big guy.
He had the jackhammer.
He did, but like in terms of, because all he did was go out there and just go 100%. And it was fast matches. That was the thing people maybe don't remember. His matches were always like over right away. That was the whole shtick. The shtick was he's just going to go
out there and get his ass kicked and walk off bleeding.
But yeah, when he did the spear, boom.
Oh, yeah. He hit it hard.
Had to hurt too. There's no way that doesn't
The
hurt.
whiplash
Yeah.
on that thing.
You'd think. I hear though, not as painful.
No, I mean, it's just a
Yeah.
tackle. It's a form tackle.
Yeah.
And he was a football player. Was
Yes.
he on the NFL team?
He is in a movie. I know that. Isn't he in The Longest Yard, the remake?
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns was a national champion with the Miami Hurricanes doing the spear.
No. There's no
so
way.
was The Rock.
There's no way that him and The Rock were both on the Hurricanes.
He was on the Hurricanes. I don't know if he was on the national
They're not
championship.
national champions. I don't think so.
He might be a little younger than that.
Yeah, when's the last time they won the national championship?
The likelihood that happened is so small. Did he also?
Well, they're cousins and they go to the same university. That's pretty not very small.
And the Miami Hurricanes are pretty good, or used to be. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's talk about it. Spearing people. It's not even allowed in football, but they don't actually spear you. The spear in football is when you hit him with your head.
The crown of your helmet.
Yeah. In wrestling, it is just a football tackle, which is awesome.
Yeah.
There's nothing more.
But if it was called just a football tackle, it wouldn't be as good.
just a football tackle,
Or even just tackle.
yeah, tackle.
Goldberg hits it with the tackle.
Oh, he's been tackled. Super effective though.
Oh, yeah.
I was in one major fight in my career as a human. I've been a lot of getting punched in the faces. Was in one fight. You remember it was ninth grade. I got suspended for it. It was myself and Mike Hines. Man, I haven't thought of the name Mike Hines it's probably since this happened. That thing happened where two groups of people said, "Oh, Mike hates you," and then my group of people said, "Dave hates
That's
Mike."
all high school fights started.
Yeah. And so it's like Dave and Mike are gonna fight, and then Dave and Mike fought, and Mike punched me in the face, and I learned right away, oh shit, we are fighting, and then I just tackled him. And,
Right.
Yeah.
No, you hit him with the spear.
He punched me. I hit him with a spear.
I went with the only move in my arsenal, which was tackle him quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grab and force down.
Yeah. The straight spear. Talk about it. Goldberg fan or not?
Yeah. I liked Goldberg as a kid. He never fought as much as you would like, though. I remember thinking that. It's like the Goldberg matches were kind of few and far between.
I think he had a history of hurting people.
Probably.
I think that's what it was. He just kept hurting people, and people didn't want to wrestle with him. So, and if you're a guy at the top, you don't want to wrestle with the guy that's going to hurt you. And if you're Goldberg, you can't just be wrestling scrubs all the time.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah. Didn't do bad in his little acting career either. You know, he's not a good actor.
In the one movie that we think he might be in?
I think he's in a couple different
what's that?
movies. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Longest Yard.
I know he's in The Longest Yard, but I think he's in a couple other things as well. But, you know, you just hey, go play a big hulking guy. Speaking of which, we just watched, it was a movie called The Long Goodbye, which is just a 1970s noir type of film. And all of a sudden in the background, I'm like, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's just in the background of the movie. It's just go play big guy with his shirt off.
That happened in a movie that we watched for the Jaeger episode.
Okay.
I don't remember what fucking movie it was, but Richard Branson.
Okay, yeah.
Probably Munich.
It might have been. It was just they were in an airport,
Yeah.
and the camera pans just a little bit, and then the scene changes.
Yeah.
And I go, "Was that fucking Richard Branson?" And I looked it up. I mean, it is a half a second cameo
Really?
in this movie.
They must have gave him
And it was so awkward. He
Well,
was Virgin Airlines.
Yeah, he financed it, gave them something.
Yeah.
And that was his term.
And he wanted a cameo.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, it was lightning fast,
Yep.
but he's such a recognizable person.
Yeah.
And I was like, just watch this movie, and then all of a sudden, just like, bleep, bleep. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Was that?
What's so funny about
Richard
well,
Branson?
like all the 90s stuff that we have that had
Trump.
in it, that's all it was. It was like,
You use my building, I get a cameo.
Yep, I got a cameo.
But he would like have a line, or
Yeah.
you'd see him
He's
like
better
walk
at writing
by
contracts than Richard
in
Branson.
the background.
Right.
Richard Branson was literally a half a second.
So Branson let them use the Virgin Airlines
Yeah.
terminal,
yeah.
and he should have written a better contract where he
Yes.
gets a line, or at least gets to walk by the
Yes.
action.
So it was like he was in
Down the hall and to the left.
Yeah.
He was just like in line at like the metal detectors.
Weird.
And like the camera's just panning and like there he is, shot change.
Well, and we didn't watch any movies where that would be fitting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it's weird when it's in a movie that like you shouldn't have a quirk.
It was so awkward.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Yeah. Well, and this wouldn't have been weird at the time. Like 1973, Arnold Schwarzenegger just would have been the big, huge guy in the background.
Right.
But now looking back, you're like, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is going on right now?
Yeah. What's he gonna do?
He did nothing. He took his shirt off.
You did throw a guy?
Watch me throw this dude.
Has Arnold ever dabbled with any WWE
I don't
whatsoever?
think so. I don't think
It's
so.
kinda weird.
I think he was too big. I think he was contract wise by the time that would have happened. He was just
But not even to just like show up and choke slam somebody.
Yeah, just
yeah. You'd think.
they have a lot of cast of recurring people who just show up and get choke slammed or choke slam and then go home.
Yeah.
And he would have been great for
Well,
that.
you'd think they would have done it like as the Terminator or something, you know, like as a tie-in for a movie or
Yeah.
something. Oh, the Terminator's here. Oh no! And he gets pile drive.
Yeah.
I like the selection. So to go back to where we were, Goldberg, the spear.
Violent move.
Yeah, yeah, very good finisher. All right, Gabe, your last two selections.
All right, so you drafted the only submission hold that we had here.
Yeah.
I could go off the board and take one, but while they're painful and technically good wrestling, they're boring.
Actually, somebody in a low-level MMA fight hit somebody with a fucking, I don't think it was the figure four, but it was just, he just pulled his legs up.
yeah.
The
It was
guy
over?
Guy actually fucking tapped out. I mean, it was pretty low level. Hard to say if it was legit, but it looked pretty fucking real.
I'm not lying. What the wrestler that I watched that talked, he had his tier list, and there were only 3 moves that he had listed as being, I'm going to quit my job from how painful this was. And the Wall of Jericho was one of those, which looks like, okay, come on, you're bending the guy. And he's like, no, that was the first time in my life I saw the bottom of my feet. And it's like, okay, now I understand. You're a big, because especially with big dudes like that, they're not meant to bend. So like every muscle in their body probably feels like it's ripping. But anyways, Gabe, not real wrestling.
We're going off the board
Okay.
with an exciting tag team finishing move.
I knew we were going to get one.
The Dudley Death Drop.
The Dudley Death
So the
Drop.
Dudley Bros.
Okay.
The DDD.
So Bubba Ray would pick somebody up as they're phased, and Devon would come up from high, take him down, and slam his head into the ground.
Yeah.
It's over.
I mean, yeah, it would be. Yeah. Those are the best tag team moves. Like same, you guys know I'm a big fan of Legion of Doom, Road Warriors.
Yep.
And that's all they would do is one guy would hold the guy up and the other guy would just clothesline him off the top of him. Awesome.
Love tag team. I looked up tag team moves when you said, should we add one? And I'm like, no, let's not.
I was wondering what was happening.
So I'm the only person with a tag team move.
Okay.
So I got that going for me.
Yeah. And lastly,
I'm going to go with maybe the most badass finishing move here, and that's the RKO from Randy Orton.
I was going to take that one last time, but I don't know what it is, so I couldn't.
So it's Randy Orton comes up from behind you, jumps up, gets you in his right arm, and just slams your face down.
Okay.
it's a DDT.
It's not one like the people's elbow where he dances around and you see it coming. It's always just like out of nowhere, boom, face down, done, match is over.
And also he has done it mid-air as well, where you'll be coming in with your high-flying move.
Oh, and he reverses it
and
down,
he'll catch you and throw your face into the mat, and then that's it. Very cool move.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably the coolest move, and I got it with the 4th round.
Randy Orton was one of those guys that was like, between him and Batista, it was like the aesthetic of like, that's a good looking dude.
Big guy.
Like,
He's a good looking guy.
yeah, he's slick. Like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, wrestlers are not usually known for being that good looking.
Right.
This is interesting because this puts us in a world where there's going to be very good moves not selected
Oh, yeah.
in this draft. So, Scott, you're on your last selection here.
I am. And I have no idea what I'm going to do.
I'm actually very happy. I made the right selections because this is where you want to be at the end of the draft. I've learned that you got to pull the trigger on your off the board. If you got the last pick, let one of these
good move.
let one of these fall to you.
I don't remember what the rock bottom is.
I think it's a power bomb.
Is it a power bomb?
I think it's a power
Then I'm
bomb.
taking the rock bottom.
Double rock.
Double rock, baby.
Man, double rock for Scott.
Because I was looking, I was like, well, there's no power bomb on this list anywhere.
I'm pretty sure it's a power bomb. And we talked about whether or not we were going to put the People's Elbow or the rock bottom on, and we went with the People's Elbow because it's more iconic.
But I mean, a power bomb's pretty iconic.
Yeah, power bombs are pretty freaking cool. And you just talked about Batista. Again, moves that hurt, according to professional wrestlers, power bombs.
Yeah.
Turns out when a guy picks you up over his head and slams the back of your head into the mat, it hurts. And I don't think there's any way to make it not hurt.
No.
Because even if you like held your neck in, it would just hurt your spine then.
Yeah.
You know? And that's how you get concussions.
Oh, for sure.
That's how you get concussions. Like
Yeah.
side of the head, back of the skull.
Right.
Terrible places to
Just
get
like
hit.
a little whiplash on your way back. Ask Tua.
It's the brain going forward and back that causes. It's actually the whiplash of the brain that gives you the concussion. So yeah, wickedly dangerous, no matter what you do.
Right.
And very visceral, effective.
Yeah.
And I would say, no offense, but if you get powerbombed by a professional wrestler, it's over. I don't care who you are. It's over.
It's not over until he pulls off the elbow. band.
So powerbomb into the people's
Into
elbow.
the people's elbow?
If we're talking combos, you could technically spear, pick him up, powerbomb, people's elbow, and then the pile driver is just for fun at the end.
Yeah, well, I would do the F5 into the RKO.
Throw him and catch him midair. Holy shit.
Oh man. The rock bottom. So big on the rock. I'm amazed by that.
Yeah. Arguably the best wrestler of all time.
It's so weird because he's so like, I get it. Everyone around me was into the rock, and then his film career and everything. I've just always been just slightly askew for him. Like he's just never really done, like even with like Moana and stuff, right? Like he does a great job. Does a great job.
He's just one of those guys that has very good at what he does, but not great
Yes.
because he has coasted off of natural charisma.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
He's just
Yes.
always been like, this guy's cool. So he never really has to work hard.
Well, he wasn't cool until he cut his hair.
This is all. Yeah. This is also true. I will say that I think you're absolutely correct on that. I think that in acting, the best actors are the people that make it feel natural. His charisma is 130%.
Yeah.
And so the making it look real, you got to get through the 130% charisma before you get to it.
Right.
So it's always a show, and it always feels like a show, no matter what he's doing, even though he's effective at it.
He's Tom Hanks. The Rock plays The Rock as such and such.
Sure, yeah, but he's always bald. He never wears a hat. He should wear a hat. He should be The Rock in a hat. Yes, The Rock with fairy wings.
There's a trailer for a new movie dropped today, and he's got full head of hair.
I can't do it.
It's kind of weird.
Like, is it like long hair?
No, it's short. It's like
hold on. So
like yours.
This is the
Robert Langdon.
No, this is the linebacker for the Bears. What was his name?
Urlacher.
This is Urlacher when he gets done, and all of a sudden he's got hair.
Yep.
I've been watching this guy for 20 years. All of a sudden he's got hair. I don't get me wrong. I do like The Rock. I'm just not as high on The Rock as everyone else has been their entire
We're not
life.
drafting wrestlers, Dave. We're drafting wrestling moves.
And in terms of moves, I'll appreciate it. In that, though, I would have went Batista with the powerbomb, personally. All right, last move here, and you can't go wrong. I would love to draft the leg drop because it is so iconic.
Is it the first finisher?
No, but but he was the
was
first mega wrestling star.
Or was like the clothesline at some point somebody's finishing move?
I'm guessing Andre the Giant had one. I think Dusty Rhodes had the elbow to the head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff like that, right? Where because he knew what he was doing. According to Hulk Hogan, I actually found a great clip of it. Because they would go over to Japan because wrestling was so big in Japan, and they'd kind of test things over there. And he tested the leg drop in Japan, and they went nuts.
Okay.
And he's like, I've got something. And then he did what people now do, which was protect the finisher. So when he dropped the leg, it's over. That is, we will not script it in any other way. Nobody's kicking out of this. When I drop the leg, it's over. And so in terms of that, probably, because he protected his finisher. I'm sure there were finishers before that, but even Ric Flair with the figure four leg lock and whatnot. People were doing that stuff forever. That's a finisher, and Ric Flair's 1,000 years old. So I would assume he was doing that prior to, but who knows? But Hulk Hogan, it's a great move. It is iconic, a great way, because he did the thing that The Rock would do as well, where he learned to sell it. So he would ham up everything before it and get the crowd going before it, and then drop the leg.
Yeah.
The people's elbow is basically the leg drop, only with an elbow.
Sure. I would imagine that the leg drop hurts the guy doing it more than the guy getting the leg dropped on him.
Slamming your ass.
Yeah, you just jump as high as you can and fall flat on your ass.
Yeah.
While a tiny little bit of your leg kind of brushes somebody's face.
Your bent leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking it all the pain. Same thing with the Tombstone Piledriver. That's how are his knees still a thing? Like you just smashed your knee. You weigh so much, and then you just smashed your knees
For 30 years.
Yeah.
And not only that, holding up 500-pound dudes as well. Like, okay, this is insane. What are you doing? I will also give a shout out to the Pedigree. Just the idea that you are holding a guy's arms back.
Yeah, I should have gone with the Pedigree.
Smashing their face.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
God.
literally cannot defend yourself nose first into the canvas.
Yep. So those are the ones I would love to do. The one I really, really wanted was the Razor's Edge. And mostly because I just love the idea of it. It's a crucifix powerbomb. So you hold the dude's arms out and like a crucifix and then powerbomb them. So that one's just the idea of it is really cool.
Wait, is that the one where you like hold them on your back?
Yeah. So you hold them up. So they're back to your back with their arms out like you're the cross and they're crucifix, and then you power bomb them from there. Sweet move.
Pretty badass.
I think that's what I want to do, but I want something high flying.
The Swanton Bomb.
And the Swanton Bomb is the high flying move. So my final selection is the Swanton Bomb, mostly because I think the coolest move in wrestling is the moon drop or the moonsault. Not the moon drop, the moonsault. I love it. When you go up on a rope and do a backwards flip onto dudes, I think it's awesome. But the Swanton Bomb is, like, in terms of that era in wrestling, I was not even watching wrestling at this time, but that stuff is freaking cool. High flying, not even looking at what you're doing a flip and slamming on a guy and doing it in a way that you're not hurting them is awesome. So that is my final selection.
It's a good pick.
Okay.
Did anybody ever do like off the top ropes, just head first into somebody?
That was Chris Benoit's move.
Okay. This is like a missile. Now we get it. Now it makes sense.
So
We definitely talked about this before.
So you say that the move that Brock Lesnar was known for before he got into WWE was the shooting star press, where he would basically go up and flip upside down, and they call it like a shooting star because you're kind of sprayed out like a star. Super fucking dangerous. Super fucking dangerous. And they're like, hey, you got to have a career. You can't be doing that as your finisher. You're too big to do that. So I almost drafted that. But he also did it in WrestleMania and really botched it. So it's like the most famous version of you doing it. You kind of screwed it up. So it actually says here, wildly known for being botched. Wildly known, not just known, wildly known.
Wildly or widely?
This says widely.
Yeah, of course it does.
This says
because
widely.
that's how you say that.
This is
Not wildly known.
This says it doesn't even remotely say wildly. I moved a letter 2 letters over, then added a letter. So yeah, or removed a letter. Yeah, widely known as being botched. So yeah, but yes, there people have done that a lot of times where you just come flying with your face first. Guess what? Terrible idea. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Turns out, long term,
Yeah,
you are the one who was damaged.
yeah. I do like the idea of that.
And your family.
Until Vince McMahon kills you and your entire family.
Oh, yeah. What was that? The report came out before it happened?
Yeah, Wikipedia was updated before he even died.
Okay, let's get off of that. All right, to our wrestling fans
From Connecticut.
Wrestling fans, I hope that you enjoyed this. Non-wrestling fans, I hope you enjoyed it as well. It's a lot of fun. We talked about what do you include, what don't you include, because obviously from the inception to now, moves that were finishers before are now just regular moves. Everything now is high flying, but you're even just your elbow drop with Macho Man Randy Savage, pretty cool move.
Yeah.
And he was a big dude. Jumping. Oh yeah. He would more go with the underarm a little bit. Get you in his pit. Oh yeah. All right, Scott, your selections are the Tombstone Piledriver, the People's Elbow,
The Rock.
I just said Goldberg, but really it's the Spear and the Rock Bottom, Gabe, the 619, the F5, the Dudley Death Drop, and the RKO. And one Dave Badeaux went with the Stone Cold Stunner, the Scorpion Deathlock, Sweet Chin Music, and the Swanton Bomb. Pretty cool. I actually really
that
enjoyed
might be
this.
the best draft you've ever had.
That is Dave's best draft ever.
By far.
You look at that and you say, that's not a bad draft.
I'm
And that's the first time we've ever been able to say that.
No. So what happened was we had this.
I'm glad we both thought
We
that.
had this. I've always fooled around with these, and then we had the sandwich draft, and all I did was fool around, and then I was like, okay, let's just take this a little more serious. I did have to learn though that you're better off in the last positions of just letting it come to you, because we create lists that have good items on them, and you're going to end up with something good.
Yeah, go off the board in the second or third,
Yeah.
especially when you're seeing where you were. Yeah.
You're going to get a good selection, because I could have ended up with any of those. I actually thought I was going to draft the Razor's Edge, because it's just being called the Crucifix Powerbomb, and it is pretty freaking cool. Because both people have to kind of sell a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't you draft the leg drop?
No, I did not. I was going to. I chose not to. I thought those were the two that I thought I really wanted, but I already went with, the Scorpion Deathlock, and once you have that, or the Sharpshooter, you can't also have a leg drop. Let's be a little more exciting.
Yeah.
You should have went with the Crossroads.
We got to go off the top ropes. So I'm gonna say, although I picked the Stone Cold Stunner, and I think it is the best finisher My favorite of the list is probably the 619.
Agreed.
I think it probably is.
It's pretty close between the 619 and the stunner.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll take it back. Like as a finisher, the stunner, but as a wrestling move, the 619 is at the time the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Yep.
The coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Nobody had ever tried it.
No, we had never seen. I mean, and again, the world of wrestling. Japan has their stuff going on. Mexico has their stuff going on, and then as it kind of made its way into the mainstream, and you get these gigantic athletes, and now you're like, okay, this is the best of the best doing a move that's been done. And oh, by the way, he's kicking someone in the face.
And it was a combo move. I didn't mention that he learned as a luchador in Mexico growing up.
Yeah.
But after WCW folded, he went to Japan for a couple of years before he came to WWE.
Oh, I didn't know
So they
that.
actually have some of that swinging through the ropes type stuff in Japan
Oh, yeah, for sure
too.
they
So
do.
he grew up with it, kind of went and perfected it in Japan. So when he came back to WWE,
Okay.
all you do is add a face to it.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because that it's a luchador type move, but yes, Japan had all that type of stuff as well. So super cool. Again, if you're not a wrestling fan, we apologize. We do about once a year. We do some wrestling content, and I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun because we've said it. We're adjacent to a lot of things. We're comic book adjacent. We're wrestling adjacent. But it's kind of fun to just especially when it transcends one generation and it's something that kind of keeps going. I think that's this content that we like the most when we can talk about how things got to where they are. And it helps when you've got someone that still is invested in the content.
And the naming of these moves keeps getting better too. I mean,
Yes.
they start out as the
Leg
whippersnapper.
drop. Oh, yeah, the whippersnapper.
We didn't even talk about that. I served that up to you, and I was waiting, and then we just moved on. Yeah, what was that?
The Stone Cold Stunner
Yes.
was originally developed by Mickey Whipwreck.
Not shipwreck,
Whip.
whipwreck.
And the move was the whippersnapper.
Why am I saying what weird? the whippersnapper, and then immediately just stolen by Stone Cold and used.
It was like within a year or two.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
now the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah. All right, Scott, favorite move, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Oh, God, I don't know. 619's awesome, but I'm gonna have to pick the stunner.
Okay.
I like the stunner.
Okay, Gabe.
The Piledriver is the most badass wrestling move. You would, if you were actually doing that, you would kill people every single time.
Yeah, you see a lot of movies where they were like snapping necks and stuff, and I don't like why weren't 80s movies just pile drivers? Like every guy that ever got his neck cracked should have just been a pile driver. God, how much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, I just pick you up and drop you on your head. Why is there not more? Now they were talking about why is there not pile drivers in things?
We should have more pile
Every
drivers.
James Bond movie should have one pile driver every single time. You snuck up behind the guy, not a judo chop, pile driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Next week, we will be back with Jesse from Play and Trade. We're going to play a game, but I am going to find some kind of game that Jesse has no advantage in whatsoever. I don't know what that would possibly be. So I'm going to work my butt off this weekend to try and figure out what that could be. Because
Jesse doesn't strike me as a sports fan.
Okay, let's do it. It would
But
be,
his uncle is Herb Brooks.
no, he's not, is he? Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah. Well, Jesse's touch of the tism is trivia, so that's tough. That's tough. But he beat us with secret sounds, even like that's.
Yes, he can hear a lightsaber from a mile away.
And a proton pack. That was the other scary one. So we'll be back with that. And then in 2 weeks, we will have 1977. You guys have your list of things. If you guys have anything out there you want to send to us, I think it's fun. There's some really old shows you could get into. Like I said, Chips, stuff like that. I believe, was it The Love Boat or was it Fantasy Island? One of those two was 77. Those feel like the 70s to me, which is weird because 77 is late in the 70s.
Yeah.
But yes, we have got those, and then we've got movies from 77 as well. So again, we'll be doing Star Wars, a lot of Star Wars. But if you've got something, now is the time to send it to us so we have time to consume it. So we'll be back in a couple weeks with that. And until then, we're done. I really wanted a tag team move, but they're tough. Like the tag team moves are tough because it's basically hold the guy up, slam him down.
Yeah,
right?
and that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny
But
though.
I like the Dudley Bros.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that you went with that. Yeah. I wanted to look up and see, because like the DDT, like, Jake the Snake Roberts, obviously. But I wanted to see like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Like, does he have a finisher?
He should grab his 2x4 and smash it over somebody.
I don't know if he ever really did that though. I don't think they ever really used it in a match.
No, it was just his flagpole.
Well, and I think maybe they used it a couple times as like the ref isn't looking type of thing, or like someone hit him, I believe it was used, and maybe I'm incorrect about that, but I don't think it was ever used as a finisher. So it would also be awesome if Jake the Snake used his snake as a finisher.
Yeah.
Just snapping people over the skull with a snake.
PETA wouldn't have it.
That would have tanked the whole federation.
That's all it would have taken. Not the steroids, not the murder.
He is whipping somebody with a snake.
And then add in to the sound system. Every time he does it.
Ugh, you're the worst kind of autistic.